All right, so hello everybody and welcome to the webinar. So today we have Miss Allison and she is with St. Kitts and Nevis Tourism Authority. How are you today, Miss Allison?
I am fantastic. Thank you so much, Tyra, and thank you so much everyone for joining us today. I am so excited to talk about my two favorite islands, St. Kitts and Nevis.
Thank you so much for being here with us, Miss Allison. You guys, she is our sales manager and she's going to tell us all about it. Miss Allison, the floor is all yours. Take it away.
All right. Thank you so much, Tyra, and thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm coming to you live from Atlanta, Georgia. Unfortunately, I'm not coming from the islands today, but I'm excited to share with you as much as I possibly can about our magical hidden gems of St. Kitts and Nevis. I like to start off the presentations with a very short video because I really feel like moving pictures and images really kind of tell the story and kind of set the tone for a presentation. So I invite you over the next minute or so to kick back, relax, and venture deeper into St. Kitts and Nevis. All right, so I like to start off with that little teaser because our islands are very unique and they are very special. But we're also the kind of islands that are not always the first place people think of when they think of the Caribbean. So the first question that I usually get when I'm talking about our islands is, where are you located? So this map is a great reference for you in relation to the other islands in the Caribbean. We are actually located right here in the northern edge of this chain of islands, which is known as the Lesser Antilles or the West Indies. As you can see here, our closest neighbors are actually Antigua and Barbuda, and we are actually south of the British and US Virgin Islands. I like to mention this because oftentimes people will say, oh, aren't you part of the Virgin Islands? No, we are not. We are actually our own independent country, and our two islands of St. Kitts and Nevis together make up our independent federation. We were actually the very first British colony in the Caribbean, as well as the first French colony. And many people on the islands can actually trace their ancestry back to either St. Kitts or Nevis. While we are completely independent, we are part of the British Commonwealth. So I do like to mention that because there is a very strong island influence, but there's also a very strong British influence as well. So getting a little bit closer into our two islands, as you can see from this map, there's a very short distance between our two islands. This little strip of water here is called the Narrows, and it's only 2.5 miles wide. So with our islands, when you fly into St. Kitts, you'll fly into our airport here, which is in the center of the island. And every single hotel on both islands can pick up your clients and get them directly to the resort. The same applies to Nevis. So if you had clients that wanted to go to Nevis, the same thing. They would fly into St. Kitts. Their transfer would take them all the way down to the southeastern edge of the island, and then they take a water taxi over to Nevis. I like these maps for a couple of reasons. I think so many of us, like myself, are very visual, and this really helps kind of paint the picture of the islands. Not only are they close together, but the actual distance between the islands, or sorry, the distance of St. Kitts is 21 miles long and 5 miles wide at its widest point. The majority of the scenic attractions and the historical sites are along the north edge of the island through here. The majority of the resorts you'll find are around Frigate Bay and also down here on the southeastern peninsula. Over here on Nevis, everything on Nevis is surrounds Nevis Peak, which is actually in the center of the island. And the majority of the accommodation on Nevis is featured along the west side of the island, along Piney's Beach. We also have a few properties that are tucked up in the hills, such as Montpelier and Hermitage, and they're actually up in the northern edge, the north peak edge of the peak of Nevis. So really a lot to do on both islands, but I really wanted to kind of just give you a sense of where we're located and what our islands are about. Now, how we get there. Now, we do have some good airlift into our islands. And as I mentioned before, you need to fly into St. Kitts in order to get to Nevis. We have a couple of options. We have a daily flight via Miami with American Airlines, and that runs all throughout the year. We also have a Saturday nonstop service with Delta that flies out of Atlanta, and that operates from December right through until early August. We also have some seasonal flights out of the Northeast with United out of Newark, Air Canada out of Toronto, and also American Airlines out of JFK. Another gateway that we have that a lot of people aren't aware of, we actually have a seasonal nonstop service every Saturday out of Charlotte with American Airlines. So that's a very interesting point because people don't always realize that we have that as well. We also have some other options with Seabourn that go via San Juan, and we also have flights with Win Air out of St. Martin. So if you have those clients that maybe are doing some island hopping, this might be a good option for them. We also really announced a couple weeks ago, this is very exciting, hot off the presses. We now have a nonstop service between Barbados and St. Kitts. And this operates on Sundays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And that's with Inter-Caribbean Airways. So this is very, very exciting because we are seeing a big growth now in people wanting to do some island hopping. I think, being stuck with that pandemic we had, we all were like, oh, I can't wait to go somewhere. And we're finding more and more people are wanting to do more than island at the same time.
Yes.
So this is really exciting. Yes. So something new and something different. So this was just launched a couple weeks ago. And with Inter-Caribbean Airways, they will also be providing connections to islands such as Dominica, Grenada, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and Guyana. So that's really exciting because, the Caribbean is such an amazing part of the world and every island is so unique and has so much to offer. So this is just a nice option for clients who maybe want to extend their stay and actually do a couple different islands. One other thing I wanted to mention, again, for island hopping, there is actually a ferry, a high-speed ferry that actually operates between St. Kitts, St. Martin, Saba, and Statia, and that's called the Makana Ferry. So this is something, again, for those clients, maybe they're spending some time in St. Martin and they want to kind of pop over and see some different islands. This is also a really good option. By the same token, they can do the opposite and go from St. Kitts to the other islands as well. So I'd like to just mention that because I think sometimes people don't realize there are these other options to do a little bit of island exploring. So a little bit back, we're going to get back to St. Kitts now. We have something very unique next to our commercial airport. We have the Cayenne Jet Terminal. Now, many of you might be familiar with Club Mobe in Jamaica. This is kind of a whole other level. So this is actually right next to our airport, but it's a private boutique terminal where clients can come in and instead of going to our main airport, waiting in line to go through security and the customs, they're actually greeted right at the tarmac, driven in a Porsche four-wheel drive right over to Cayenne Jet. They're greeted with a glass of champagne or an espresso or a rum punch, and immediately their paperwork, their passports, everything is taken care of for them so they can sit back, relax, and start to get into island time. Their bags are collected for them and they can just relax. And when their transfer comes to pick them up, they'll be whisked away to the resort and they can begin their vacation. So this is a really nice feature. Yeah, it's a really nice way to kind of, especially after a flight, it's a nice way to kind of get in there and just be like, oh, my vacation's starting the moment I actually step off the plane.
Yes.
So this is a really nice service you can book for your clients. It is, of course, an additional cost. So Cayenne Jet, there are a couple of different options here. You can book this directly with Cayenne Jet, and they offer a net rate to you as the agent, and then you can mark it up whatever you feel appropriate for your clients. So the net rates are $220 net per adult and $120 net per child. Now, the majority of people will do this on their arrival, but you can also book it for the departure as well. So this is really good for those luxury clients who really just want that immediate kind of relaxation mode. They don't want to wait in the normal line with everyone else, to get their bags and wait for customs. These are definitely for your high-end clients that want that kind of white glove service as soon as they land. So this is a really nice feature, and it is quite unique. This is open to both private and commercial planes. So anyone can do that. Again, you just have to book it directly with Jet for your clients. Now, I want to get into the meaty stuff, the fun stuff about St. Kitts and Nevis, because there are so many wonderful islands in the Caribbean, and they all have different things to offer. So today, I really want to try to explain why St. Kitts is a great fit for some of your clients, and what attracts people to the islands, and what kind of clients actually travel here. So I always start off with this slide because I love it, because it speaks so much to the adventure on our island, to the nature, and also to the geography that our islands have. So both St. Kitts and Nevis are home to dormant volcanoes. So you see this rugged topography as soon as you sail into the island. It's mountainous, it's lush. We have a beautiful rainforest that's actually growing, which is really quite remarkable in today's world. So there's some wonderful opportunities for hiking, for exploring the flora and the fauna. It's a really great opportunity for clients who want to get out and maybe do some exploring. For history buffs, we have no shortage of history. Being one of the earliest settled colonies in the Caribbean, we have a lot of history that harks back to that time. Brimstone Hill Fortress is our actual UNESCO World Heritage Site. This took over 120 years to build. And on a clear day, when you're at this fortress, you can actually see out, and you can actually see Statia and Saba in the distance. It's really quite impressive. On the north side of St. Kitts, we have something very unusual. We have our sugar train, which is still operating on our original railroad tracks that used to take the sugarcane from the sugarcane farms down to port. So many of these islands, especially in the West Indies, they all had railway systems to actually transport the sugarcane. A lot of islands decided to pave over the railroad tracks and create roads. But St. Kitts, back in 2005, when we decided to turn everything over to tourism and move away from agriculture, we decided to keep those original railway tracks and create a tourist attraction, because this is really part of our heritage and it's part of our history. And we thought, wow, wouldn't this be kind of fun for people to hop on a train, go through the rural side of the island, and see what life is like for people away from the resorts. So this is a really fun activity, and it's very popular with kids, but I can honestly say, having done it myself, this is the kind of activity for kids of all ages. I saw more adults on there taking pictures and having fun, because how often are any of us on a train, especially an open air train going through this beautiful terrain? So this is a wonderful activity for everybody.
This looks super cool.
Oh, it's so much fun. And they tell stories, and they sing traditional songs. They serve rum punch. It's just such a wonderful outing. And it only takes about 3 hours all up. So it's a great thing to do for a half a day. And speaking of rum, we have no shortage of rum anywhere on the islands. But one of the unique distilleries we have is called Old Road Rum. Now, what's fascinating about this rum distillery is that it's actually built on the remains of a still that goes back to 1681. So again, a really interesting link to history, because for many, many, many hundreds of years, people were drinking rum on our island. So it's a really fun stop, and it's actually very close to all of our scenic attractions and historical sites. We also have our Carabel Boutique gallery space and studio. This is located on the grounds of Romney Manor, where Thomas Jefferson's great-great-great-grandfather had a home. This is a wonderful little studio space. You can watch the artisans create their boutique designs. You can buy various items, from paintings to clothing, to cookbooks, to potpourri holders. There's a little bit of everything there. But what's really fun about Carabel Boutique is that the grounds that they're on are absolutely stunning, and the gardens are absolutely beautiful. There are banyan trees there that I swear are bigger than my house. I mean, they're just incredible. So these are very old trees and old flora and fauna that just prosper because of the climate and the conditions on the island. As I mentioned before, in that very first slide, we have a wonderful opportunity for clients who want to hike and maybe get a bit adventurous. We have wonderful hiking opportunities. As I said, our rainforest is expanding, so it's just wonderful to get out in nature and really explore. We also have four-wheel drive tours. If your clients maybe don't want to get so physical and do all the hiking, they can actually go through parts of our rainforest through a four-wheel drive and learn from our local guides about the flora and the fauna and some of the medicinal purposes that these different plants and trees can offer It's really interesting. We also have zip lining around our rainforest as well, 5 different levels. So if you have those clients that are adrenaline junkies, or if you've got clients with older children, this is a really fun activity, and it's just absolutely beautiful. Not a lot of, there's not a lot of traffic around this area, and you're just zip lining over this pristine rainforest. You might hear the birds, you might see some monkeys, but you're pretty much zip lining in the jungle, which is incredible. We also have ATV tours as well, which is a lot of fun. And again, really good for families with older children. I always say that St. Kitts is a great destination for clients with older kids. It's the kind of place they'll get off their iPads, they'll get off their phones, because they all want to see a monkey and they all want to jump on an ATV and they all want to go zip lining. So it's a really good destination for that. For adults and for families, we've got our Fairview Great House. This is a historical home and gardens. Now, while it does offer rum tasting, it also offers cooking classes, which is something a little bit unique. So if you've got clients that are really interested in food, this is a great stop for them and a really great optional excursion. Over on Nevis, we also have quite a bit of history. Alexander Hamilton was born on Nevis and spent his early childhood years on the island. So you can go to his birthplace. We've got some wonderful immersive tours where our colleagues at Nevis Sun Tours actually make it very experiential. So for kids who are doing the tour, they will actually speak to the kids like, hey, Alexander Hamilton was here. He was born here when he was 6, when he was 7, when he was 8. He did this, he did that. So they do a really nice job of kind of including the children in the tour and kind of getting them to pretend that they, like Hamilton, this is where you live and this is where you go to church. So a really interesting kind of option for clients who are interested in history.
I like that.
Oh, it's so interesting. And the tours there are absolutely wonderful. Now, for those clients who are into golfing, we have a beautiful golf course adjacent to our Four Seasons Hotel on Nevis. It's a Bobby Jones golf course, and it's absolutely stunning. As you can see, that it goes all over the property, but this peak here is actually Nevis Peak. And when you're on Nevis, this is a very central focal point because it's at the middle of the island and everything kind of surrounds the peak. And almost every day you'll see like a cloud cover over the top of it, almost like a mist, almost like creating this, it almost looks like mystical clouds that always hang over the peak. It really is absolutely beautiful. What's also quite unique on both islands, but in particular Nevis, we have churches that go back to the 1600s. In fact, St. Thomas Anglican Church, they still perform weddings and baptisms and Sunday Mass here. And it's just incredible. You walk into the church and you just feel like time stood still. Absolutely enchanting. We also have some great biking tours over on Nevis. So again, for those clients who want to kind of get active, clients who have children with them and want to get them out and exercising, we've got some wonderful bike tours all around Nevis. And again, as you can see, Nevis Peak features quite predominantly no matter where you go on the island. And of course, like all good Caribbean islands, we have a wide variety of snorkeling cruises. We have half day, full day. We have sunset cruises. We have snorkeling cruises. We even have fishing charters. So if clients are into deep sea fishing, we also have some wonderful fishing tours as well that clients can do. And of course, what would we be without a dolphin discovery center? So this is great for kids of all ages. They can actually get in there and have some interaction with the dolphins. We do have marine biologists on site, so there is some instruction. Kids don't just jump right in and play with the dolphins, but we do have some guides there that kind of talk them through the process. So that's a lot of fun for kids. And then for those who maybe are interested in adventures underneath the sea, we have diving as well off both St. Kitts and Nevis. So if you have clients that are interested in diving, we do have some really good diving spots as well. For those that might enjoy indoor adventures, we do have one casino on our islands, and that's actually housed in our St. Kitts Marriott Resort. This is a wonderful little casino. I recently met an agent. I loved her story. She had never really gambled before, and she was in St. Kitts years ago, and the sun was a little bit too strong one day, so she decided to come in, and she actually spent the day in this resort in the casino learning how to play craps from the local dealers. And so now she's really good because she spent the entire day learning from the dealers how to play craps. So there you go. If people want to be indoors learning how to gamble, they can do that too.
That's right.
Exactly. There's something for everyone. But one of
Absolutely.
my favorite activities, definitely, no matter where I go in the world, but especially here on our islands, I love going to our local bars and cafes. It's just so much fun. You can hang with the locals, so easily accessible. This particular bar, this shot, that's actually me having what we call a baby bee. So this is Sunshine Bar and Grill, home of the Killer Bee, which is an incredible cocktail, which does not taste like alcohol, which is what can be a little dangerous sometimes. So I chose the baby bee because I thought it might be less potent. But this wonderful little beachside bar is a 20-minute walk down the beach from our Four Seasons Nevis. So it's just amazing. You can stay at our wonderful luxury hotels, and yet, a short walk away, you can hang out with the locals at one of our local restaurants or bars. So it's just wonderful that you have the best of both worlds. And the food is incredibly fresh. We have a real focus on culinary at the moment. We have a restaurant week every July. We have a wonderful section on our website about all our different restaurants. We have everything from your upscale dining to your local little mom and pop type places, and it's fresh and it's delicious. So I can definitely say you will definitely not go hungry on either island. But I think my favorite aspect of the islands is the people. And I think probably most of us can say that. Sometimes your happiest memories are the people that you meet when you travel. And I have to say, with St. Kitts and Nevis, we're truly blessed because not only are our locals friendly and welcoming and warm, it's such a destination where it's safe. I mean, you can walk around at night, you can walk to those local bars and restaurants, and it's just such a warm, safe kind of family environment. And we're truly lucky. So I think in terms of for family travel, especially, that's just very reassuring to know that, there's places out there that, that have very little crime, very little poverty, a great education system, and just incredibly warm and welcoming people. So we are truly blessed in that regard on both St. Kitts and Nevis. So the accommodation, it's so important to talk about this because, there's so much to do and see on St. Kitts and Nevis, but it's the reality is, and as an agent, your clients want to know, well, what are my accommodation options? Like, where can I stay? So this shot, I always like to lead in with because it's just that glorious glamour shot of, oh, I want to be there, beam me into that plunge pool. And this is actually down on the southeastern edge of the island. And this is actually at the Park Hyatt. So this plunge pool is from the presidential villa at Park Hyatt. That beach you see there basically spills out onto the southeastern shore, and then across from the water, just out of the frame, is actually the island of Nevis. But the Marriott, I always like to start off too with the Marriott because this resort has something for everyone. Their location is fantastic. It has a lovely stretch of beach. It faces the Atlantic Ocean side. So for those of you like me who love to hear the sound of the waves, that's what you'll get staying on the Marriott. It has 3 different pools. We also have our vacation club, but we also have our garden view rooms, our ocean view rooms, as well as 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. So it really has something for everyone in terms of accommodation type. But what I love about the Marriott, although you have every amenity you could want, the gym, the kids club, the fitness center, the spa, you walk out the door of the Marriott and there's a grocery store, and there's a cafe, and there's a bakery, and there's a little nail salon. And then, a 20-minute walk to your left out of the Marriott, you actually head over and there's a ton of local bars and restaurants. So walking through this main atrium out the front door, you walk down through here, and over here is the Caribbean side where all our local bars and restaurants. It's called the Strip. So it's so accessible. And if clients don't want to walk, they can hop in a taxi. It's 5 minutes and they're right there. And there's endless bars and restaurants, one after the other. So it really is got a fantastic location, one of the best on the island. The rooms are wonderful. They've just had they had a big refurbishment of all the rooms back in 2019 just to make them nice and bright and kind of more tropical and less corporate. So now you have these wonderful spacious rooms with all the amenities you want to expect at a Marriott. So it's really a fantastic property for families, for couples, for friends, really for everyone. And then about a 15-minute drive north of Marriott, we have our Koi Resort, and this is a Curio Collection by Hilton property. Now this property is much smaller than the Marriott. It is, as you can see here, it looks like it's a beachfront, but really it's more of a beach view because the beach there is a little bit rocky. As we are volcanic in origin, sometimes the sand can be a little rocky and a little bit more like black sand. This particular beach isn't really accessible, so this is more of a beach view property. But wonderful rooms, very spacious, floor to ceiling windows, brand new property, brand new build, and again, beautiful views looking out over the hills of St. Kitts. And then the Marriott is just right here. So again, only about a 15-minute ride north of the Marriott, but a wonderful property and a wonderful base for exploring the island. So if you have clients that maybe on a little bit more of a budget, this is a great option because the rates here are fantastic and the location is exceptional. It just doesn't have that nice stretch of beach that the Marriott does. Across from where the Marriott's located, so behind our grocery store and our cafe and our bakery, you'll find a wonderful property called the Royal St. Kitts Hotel. This is a sensational property. It's still owned by the same family as it has been for the last 60 years. Charming little studios and 1 and 2 bedroom cottages. Also a nice option for families because every single room has either a full kitchen or a kitchenette, which is great if you just want to do some cooking like in the morning and make your own breakfast or maybe make your own lunches. Really nice option. And they also have really nice family villas that are like 2 and 3 bedroom villas. So this is a really great option. And again, a wonderful location because it's right across from where the Marriott is located. The only difference is this isn't a beachfront property, but it does have a huge pool, a wonderful games area for children, as well as a nice restaurant, bar, and fitness center. So it's a really good option for clients who might be on a little bit more of a budget. Another stunning property we have, this is actually down on the southeastern end of the island, is our Park Hyatt of St. Kitts. This is a beautiful property. This was the first Park Hyatt ever built in the Caribbean. And it's just a wonderful property. As soon as you walk in, you are greeted and treated like family. You go into the living room, which is what they call their lobby. The staff come out and greet you. They give you a tour of the property and then escort you by golf cart to your room. And what is very unique about the Park Hyatt is that every single room faces the sea, regardless of room type that you book. Every single one has a sea view, which actually ultimately looks out over the island of Nevis, which is actually featured right here. So again, that 2.5 mile crossing, you can kind of see in this image just how close Nevis is. This is the adults only pool, which kind of wraps around the property. And then down here is our lagoon style family friendly pool, which spills out onto our beach. The Park Hyatt is a wonderful property. Again, for your luxury clients, it's a wonderful option. You have 4 different restaurants, a wonderful award-winning spa, a fantastic kids club. We have a great fitness center. They do yoga classes. I mean, it really is a charming property and very luxurious. And again, only a short 15 or 20-minute walk to a few local bars and restaurants. So again, you really get the best of both worlds when you stay at this property. And these are some of the different room types. I like this one because it does show you a little bit more of that lagoon style pool and then where the adults only pool is. And then up here, this is one of our plunge pool villas. So this plunge pool villa is actually up on the higher level. And here you can see there's Nevis Peak. And as I was mentioning before, you have that soft, almost mystical cloud cover right over the peak. So stunning views. Now, crossing over the Narrows, I always start with our Four Seasons Resort on Nevis. This property is very well known. This was our first luxury property on either island. And many years ago, when Four Seasons decided to start building this property, a lot of people 25 years ago thought they were crazy. They're like, where are you building a property? No one's heard of that island. Well, this is one of those properties that people return to year after year after year. It's a beautiful property. It's old world luxury. It had a complete renovation in 2019. You walk in the doors here and you just feel like you step back in time, but every amenity, every touch, it is colonial luxury, old world luxury. You feel like you just stepped into the pages of a history book, but with 6-star service. I mean, it is a beautiful property. The rooms, again, all underwent that renovation as well back in 2019. So you have your garden view suites, you have your ocean view cottages, and then you also have a variety of villas as well. Some will be right on the beach, some might be tucked up in the hills close to Nevis Peak. Others might be tucked along the golf course. And the thing about Four Seasons is the way it was built, it's very, very small, 196 suites and villas. It's an intimate little resort, but you can disappear. And this is why many celebrities choose to stay here, because you can disappear in this resort. And you can certainly disappear on Nevis because it's so lush and it's so quiet. So while we're both hidden gems, I'd say Nevis is even more of a hidden gem, because not having a commercial airport, not having a big cruise port, honestly, for some people, that's the appeal. If it makes it that little bit harder to get to, that immediately is attractive to more people. So it can be quite exclusive, but it's very easy to get to from St. Kitts. Another wonderful property I recommend for families is our Hamilton Beach Villas. These are all apartment style. So you have 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments. It's beachfront. It has this wonderful lagoon pool, an award-winning restaurant right on the beach. So it's a really nice option for families if they want to actually have some self-serving and self-catering facilities. This is a really good option. On the higher end, if clients want the ultimate in luxury, we do have a very intimate boutique property called Paradise Beach Villas. This has a variety of different villa types, 2, 3, and 4 bedroom villas with their own private entertaining area, their private pool, barbecue area. They can have a private chef. They can have a private masseuse. They also have 2 bedroom beach houses as well that have their own little plunge pool and their own private beach access. So for clients who are kind of thinking more ultimate luxury and very exclusive, this is a really good option. And again, a very popular choice with celebrities and people who really just want to escape and really have their own kind of little pocket of paradise. So that's a really nice option. I'll touch upon dining again because we're seeing such an increase in dining and culinary events at the moment. And it's such an exciting time for our islands. But some of our favorites include our Carambola Beach Club, amazing sunsets. This is such a wonderful option. And if you ever have clients that are traveling on the island with seaborne cruises, they actually tender right off the shore here from Carambola Beach. And then they actually tender in with smaller boats, and then they come ashore at Carambola. So a very different kind of experience as opposed to arriving at our main port, Port Zante, which is where the majority of our cruise ships come in. The Pavilion Beach Club, another nice option, very upscale dining. This is actually located down on the southeastern peninsula, so a little bit closer to where the Park Hyatt is, but wonderful food. And then the Spice Mill is a real favorite of everyone. This restaurant is delicious, has fantastic cuisine and really creative cocktails. And this is about a 15-minute walk from the Park Hyatt. So it's kind of nestled in between where the Park Hyatt is located and some of our local bars and restaurants. And again, right through here, you can actually see the island of Nevis. And again, there's that magical cloud cover. It's almost always there. Salt Plage is another unique restaurant. They specialize in special events, light fare, tapas, and cocktails. That is supposed to be reopening very soon, and we are very excited because that's a wonderful spot to dine. But we also have really unique places, like over on Nevis, we have something called the Mille Privé, and that's housed within the Montpelier Hotel and Plantation and Beach Estate. And this is actually a private dining area. You can do this for your small groups or maybe for just a couple. And this is an actual dining area that's basically in a 400-year-old sugar mill. So it's really, really fascinating. So you can get that kind of historical feel as you dine there. One of my favorite places to dine over on St. Kitts is the Strip. And this is where all our local beach bars and restaurants are. This is a 5-minute taxi ride away from the Royal St. Kitts Hotel or the Marriott Hotel, or a good brisk 20-minute walk. But this is fun because every night one of the restaurants does something different. There might be a bonfire one night. There might be a lobster fest. There might be a karaoke night. There might be a fish fry night. So they do something different every single night. And this is just such a fun area for clients to go to. Kids love it because, how often do you get to just eat with your toes in the sand, jump in and have a swim, go back and have some more food? So this is a really fun area for kids of all ages, including the adults that deep down are kids at heart as well. And special events, we have so many special events, and it's so exciting that this year we are bringing back for this. Well, we've had this now for many, many years, but with the pandemic, of course, a few of our events we couldn't run, but we are so excited that our St. Kitts Music Festival is back again. And
Good
that is
morning.
Yes, it's so exciting. We got a great
How you
lineup.
doing,
The
babe?
lineup was announced. It is so exciting.
Oh,
That's from
hello.
yeah, You'll have to come down. We've got from the 22nd to the 24th of June. We have our music festival, and American Airlines just announced that they're actually going to be adding extra flights to coincide with this music festival, because we know that there's a huge demand for this. So this attracts people from all over the world as well as from the Caribbean. So for all you lovers of good music, it's everything from hip hop to reggae to rap to soft mellow music. We even have Air Supply coming. So like it's just a really unique lineup, and it's a lot of fun, and it's a huge festival of events. They're going to be doing all kinds of events the week leading up to the festival and the week after. So summer for us is actually a really fun time because we do a lot of events in the summer. And what actually just happened this weekend is something very unique. We do a cross-channel swim every year. We hold it in late March, and we actually have competitors from all over the world that come, and they swim from Nevis to St. Kitts. They brave that 2.5 miles. We have support boats everywhere, but it's a huge event, and it's a real sense of satisfaction that people actually come and compete in this event. So if you have clients that are really active, that compete in marathons or are active swimmers, this is a really interesting event, and it's very well organized. So if you do have clients that are active like that and are interested in the swimming or the biking or any of our marathons that we do throughout the year, definitely reach out. I'll put my email address down at the very end, because these events are very unique, and it's just a wonderful thing to tie in if you're going to the islands to do an event as well. And of course, again, getting back to that food focus, the culinary side of our islands, we have an amazing mango and food festival that happens every July on Nevis. There are over 40 different varieties of mangoes on Nevis. I never knew there were that many mangoes in the world, let alone on one island. So this is a really fun event with music, with all kinds of food, with cocktails, and this is just a really unique event that's held every year. We also have our restaurant week, and my apologies, I don't have a slide for that, but we do have a restaurant week that's being held in July on both St. Kitts and Nevis. So all the different restaurants will have different themes and different special menus. And then last but not least, our carnival on St. Kitts happens every year. It's our Sugar Moss Carnival, and that happens over Christmas and New Year. So that's always a bit of fun. And Nevis actually holds their carnival in August. So again, there's always something going on the islands depending on when you travel. But I kind of like to save the juicy bits, the best parts for last. So for you as travel advisors, we so appreciate your support. And I myself was a travel agent many moons ago. I know how hard you work. I know it's been a tough couple of years, but it's coming back, and boy, is it coming back in droves. So we actually offer a travel agent incentive. So at the moment, our incentive is valid from April to December. The promo code is listed there. But what we do as a tourism authority, we like to say thank you for recommending and selling our islands. So we actually, for you, the travel agent, we would send you a $200 Visa gift card per booking. So this applies for your clients that are staying over on the island. So if you book clients to go to St. Kitts, when they travel, once they return, we're like, thank you so much. Here's your $200 bonus. If clients travel to Nevis, we will still send you that Visa gift card to say thank you. If clients travel to St. Kitts and Nevis and do a split stay, which is very common, we'd send you that $200 Visa gift card to say thank you. And one of the reasons we do that is that we know there's so many islands to choose from. There's so many destinations out there. But, we just want to say thank you because we are smaller islands, and, we are not the first place people think of when they think of the Caribbean. So as a travel agent, when you suggest St. Kitts and Nevis and when you book your clients there, we like to say thank you. So that's just from us as a tourism authority to thank you for your support. Now, this is in addition to whatever commission you might be making through your operator or through the hotel direct. So it doesn't matter if you book it directly with the hotels on island, or if you book it with someone like Classic Vacations or Travel Impressions or Delta Vacations or whoever it might be. We just do this separately from the tourism board to, again, just say thank you. So all you need to do is log your bookings, because that alerts us to say, hey, I made a booking. And then we keep an eye on that travel for you. And then once your clients complete the travel, we can send you that gift card. But I will forward this information to you, of course, afterward. But I just wanted to let you know that we do have this. Again, it only applies to stayover bookings, so it doesn't apply to cruise bookings. But again, if you do have specific questions about anything today, you can reach out anytime. And I know I haven't really delved deeply into cruise, but I can certainly address any of those questions you might have at the end. And last but not least, because it's summer, we have our sweet side of summer savings that we offer every year. So some of our properties, as you can see there, are doing some great deals for the summer. This is valid for travel from the 16th of April up until the 5th of September. And again, you can book with your favorite wholesaler or direct with the properties. So depending on who you book with, for example, St. Kitts Marriott is doing a great deal where you book 7 nights for your clients, but they only pay for 4, and 3 nights are free. So that's just one example. Places like Park Hyatt, they'll do a complimentary breakfast, and the 5th night is free. So it really just depends on the property. And again, it will be available through your operator that you choose or direct with the property. So I can forward this information to you as well. But what I did want to mention, and thank you so much for your time. And again, I know I focused heavily on the stayover portion, but when it comes to cruise, I don't want to discount that because cruise is very important too. And I know that for St. Kitts in particular, we are a very popular cruise stop. So Celebrity and Norwegian and Royal Caribbean and Carnival, they do stop on St. Kitts. And Port Zante is a fantastic port. A lot of wonderful excursions. As I've talked about, there is a lot to do on our islands, so there'll be no shortage of activities for your clients. But if clients are interested in exploring Nevis, the thing about the majority of the cruise ships, they can only sail into St. Kitts because Nevis's port is much smaller and the port isn't deep enough for those big cruise ships. So if clients are interested in exploring Nevis and they're doing a cruise, they would just need to organize an excursion ahead of time that would actually take them over to Nevis. So that's just something I wanted to mention because sometimes people do ask about that. And it is a wonderful cruise stop. And oftentimes that'll be someone's first introduction to our islands. And we hope that when they do get that first introduction, they're going to fall madly in love with the island and want to come back and stay longer. So that's kind of, really of the focus of today. One other thing I was going to mention too, because I often get asked, is what our currency is. So on St. Kitts and Nevis, we use the Eastern Caribbean dollar. But US dollars are accepted widely on both islands. So your clients never need to be worried about, oh my gosh, I have to get money ahead of time and I can't find it. It's not a problem. We do accept USD all around the island. And we also, fun fact, being part of the British Commonwealth, we drive on the left-hand side of the road. So I always like to mention that. So if your clients are interested in renting a car, that is totally fine. But we do like to mention that, hey, we drive on the left. And it's not hard because once you get used to it, it's a breeze. So that's pretty much it for me. And I know I've gone through and talked about a lot of aspects of the island, but if anyone has any questions, feel free. I am your captive audience now, and I would be happy to answer them.
Yes, so there are some questions, but one of the first questions that I have is how do we book into that festival as travel agents? Is there like a special department or a special authority that's handling that so that we can get commission for booking the festival along with the hotel that's attached to the festival?
Well, yes. So what I can do is I can send you the direct link to the music festival organizers. So this is a very popular festival. And in fact, it's very good timing too that the inter-Caribbean flights have now started because we get a huge amount of traffic from the other islands coming to this event because it is so sought after. So I can send, in fact, what I'll do in the chat section, if there's an option, I can send the link.
Yes, please.
I'll send the link to the music festival because what will happen, so right now what we're finding it's accommodation. So the accommodation is going to be key because, for example, we have wonderful hotels on both islands, but obviously, our largest hotel is the Marriott, which has 389 rooms and suites. That's our largest hotel. We're small islands. So obviously capacity goes very quickly. So I definitely will send you that link. Right now, it's a case of, with the packages, it's just finding the accommodation that's available. I will send that link now. In fact, let me get into the chat. Let's see if I can do that. And I can send the link. Plus, I will send my direct email address as well.
Okay. And we had a few questions in the chat. Our first question is from Miss Alexis. She said, is this the area safe for LGBTQ community?
Excellent question. In fact, it's time for me to put my camera on. There I am. I exist. I'm not just a voiceover. Yes, it is. We are. Yes, we are. And that's an excellent question. That's a very important question to ask. But yes, we are. We're very respectful. Our islands are very, we're very genuine. We're very authentic. It's sometimes like time has stood still. I know I mentioned that a few times, but not in a bad way. People are very respectful. It's a very friendly island. It's a very safe island. And I do stress that so much. I think it's interesting, when I talk to some of my friends from the other islands, it's amazing to think that in 2005, we were still basically focusing on agriculture. That was really the focus of our economy. And when you think about it, 2005, I know it seems in some way like it was just yesterday, but 2005 wasn't that long ago in terms of tourism. So I think that's maybe why we've been so lucky that we're still so genuine and still so very authentic. But yes, we are very respectful, and it is a safe destination for LGBTQ clients.
All right. Thank you for that. All right. So Ms. Shaquita was asking, when is the festival? I think it was in, sometime June. Do they have the dates for 2024 yet? So that we can maybe
don't yet.
Okay.
They don't have them yet, but generally it's that same weekend in June. I think probably what will happen, they'll get through this year's music festival, and then usually they'll have dates by early fall.
Okay.
Because they know what a big event it is. I'm going to bring up that link. Sorry if I'm not, my webcam camera's here. My other computer's here. So if you're seeing my profile, I apologize. No. I'm going to bring up the link for you.
It's fine. So Ms. Shaquita was also asking, is there a St. Kitts Nevis certification course?
Excellent question. Thank you for that question. As a matter of fact, yes, we used to have one through Travel Agent University. But unfortunately, Travel Agent University are kind of discontinuing a lot of their online trainings. So my colleague, Denise Zimber, is currently in the process of creating a new one, which is going to be fantastic. It's going to get more detailed. We're going to have different levels so you can specialize in different areas. So for example, we'll have a general one. We'll have probably a romance focused one, which will focus on like destination weddings. We'll have a cruise focused one because we often have agents that focus solely on cruise. So we'll have that. And then we'll probably have one just for the groups and MICE market and incentives. So we're going to try to get, deeper into different levels. But at the moment, we're hoping to launch that. We're hoping by late April or early May. So I will definitely follow up once we have that new agent specialist course ready to go. But that is a fantastic question. So thank you.
All right, and so I'm going to check the Facebook group and see if there's any questions in there. Ms. Shaquita, you can come off of mute with your questions.
Okay. Hello. So my question was the slides when you were talking about the agent, when you were saying like April through December, there were travel agent discounts. My slide went black, so I couldn't see the actual slide.
No, of course. No, that's fine. So it's a travel agent incentive. So the travel agent incentive is when you book clients as a stayover package. So whether it be St. Kitts or Nevis or both, if you book clients on an extended stay, we send you, the agent, a $200 Visa gift card to thank you for your booking.
Okay.
So
did you say there was a promo code, or did I?
Yes, there is. In fact, I can probably. I'm wondering if I can. Well, I will definitely send a follow-up with the attachment. But I'm wondering if I can send an attachment on the chat. Maybe not.
Okay.
Let me see. Let me see. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to put it in this chat. Sorry, you're hearing my fingers typing away here. My apologies. But yes, there is a promo code for it. And then you just log it through our website. Let me get it here. There we go. I just put it in the chat, and then I'm going to put where you log it as well. Because, hey, who wants to leave money on the table, right? And for us, with as a tourism authority, again, we just want to thank you for your support. And, the power of persuasion and suggestion. Travel agents, especially now, I was a travel agent for years, and I know, clients get overwhelmed, especially now after all we've been through with the pandemic. And sometimes they just need that gentle nudge and like, yeah, I guess I never thought of that. That would be a great destination. And, for clients who, and, we're not for everyone. And I'm always in the first to say that, because, you know, there are some clients who just want to maybe go and just stay in an all-inclusive and never leave the resort and never leave the beach. And that's okay. Sometimes there's a time and place for those kind of vacations. I totally understand that. But we're really not that destination. You know, we don't have any true all-inclusives. So that's a big point of difference of our islands with other islands. We don't have any all-inclusives. I mean, yes, your clients could book an all-inclusive plan at the Marriott or the Park Hyatt, but honestly, it's not truly worth it in the sense, because everything is so accessible. You can walk across the street from the Marriott and go to a grocery store and buy a bottle of wine or a bottle of rum and some cheese and crackers and hang out at the room. Or with Park Hyatt, again, I mean, I understand the need for breakfast, especially for families. And I understand with kids, sometimes it's easier to have breakfast included. Totally get that. I would encourage that. And even maybe, you know, if they're staying at the Royal St. Kitts Hotel, you have those fantastic kitchens in every room, and they're wonderful. So yeah, I guess you could, you know, definitely book the breakfast and the lunch, but there's just so much on the island to discover and explore, and it's so safe. I think sometimes if people do that, they'll be like, wow, why did I pay all this money for an all-inclusive plan when I can walk 10 minutes and be at a cute little local restaurant?
Right.
So I think that's really important for you as the agents to be aware of and just let clients know, because we aren't for everybody. And I think another big point, like, I love our islands. I love that they're mountainous and they're rugged and they're volcanic. We have white beaches, we have coral beaches, we have black sand beaches. But what we don't have are those 20-mile long stretches of white beaches like you would see in the Bahamas, for example. And they're beautiful and they're stunning. We don't have those kind of beaches. So I always think it's important for people to know, you know, that that's not our kind of, I mean, when you're a volcanic island or when you have that kind of topography, you know, your beaches are going to be a bit different.
Yes.
But they're beautiful. We still have lovely beaches, but again, there's just so much to do. And I always say to agents, you know, the kind of clients that are coming to you asking about Costa Rica or Hawaii or Puerto Rico to a lesser extent, or maybe Belize, or maybe even Dominica, you know, those kind of destinations, those clients that are asking about those destinations, they're going to enjoy St. Kitts and Nevis. You know, people who want to kind of explore and still unplug, but also just discover and like meet the locals and maybe do some hiking, or maybe just do like a food tour, or maybe go to a farm. You know, we have working farms that clients can go to and actually, you know, eat the food that grows right there on the farm. So it's just a very unique kind of experience. And again, the history but it's also very laid back. I mean, it's very, very low key. You're not going to see Starbucks and McDonald's on every corner. It's just, and Nevis doesn't have any traffic lights. Like, I love that. Like, I think that's a huge selling point. So I think for clients who really want to unplug and discover things and explore, these are perfect islands for that.
Okay. I love this. Do any other agents have any questions? Let me see if there's anything on Facebook. Miss Allison, this has been an amazing webinar.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm going to include my email address right there. And for those of you, well, even if you're not based in Atlanta, I look after the entire Southeast, and my amazing colleague Denise Zimber looks after the Northeast. And between the two of us, we pretty much cover the entire country. So if you ever have questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm including my phone number and email address in there. I've also typed in the link to the music festival, the dates, and the promo code for the agent incentive. And I think that's all my links.
Well, let's see. I'm copying everything now. It goes. Let's see. You guys want to go ahead and copy everything from the chat, because
one thing I'll also mention. So if you yourselves as agents are ever headed down to the islands, whether it's just maybe for a cruise and maybe you're stopping for the day, or maybe you want to go on your own vacation, definitely reach out. I can put you in touch with the hotels. I know the Marriott normally does really, really good agent rates. Sometimes the Park Hyatt will, depending on their occupancy. Royal St. Kitts Hotel does some really good agent rates. And some of our newer properties are starting to do that as well, because they're realizing the value of getting agents down and experiencing the destination, because I know there's nothing like experiencing it firsthand. That is everything.
Absolutely. Miss Allison, what about groups? if we want to take a group down there, what's the best course of action for booking a St. Kitts group? Is it contacting the resort directly, or is there a better way to go?
Well, I think it depends. Ultimately, I think it depends. Like if you have like an operator that looks after you really well for groups, then you could certainly use your operator and have them put it all together for you.
Okay.
But by contrast, you can also go directly to the resorts. Like I know the Marriott is a very popular choice for groups because it is our largest property. The location is amazing. You're close to everything. Plus they have meeting rooms, conference rooms, boardrooms. They have a very good setup, but so does Park Hyatt. So depending on now Park Hyatt is smaller, but Park Hyatt has a great groups option as well. So for your higher end groups, that is a really good choice for St. Kitts. Now over on Nevis, Four Seasons does a lot of groups. Hamilton Beach Villas would also do a lot of groups because again, that's apartment style. And probably to a lesser extent, maybe like Mount Pelier Plantation, but that's an older property, like a historical property. So it's much smaller. So you probably aren't going to get a very big group in there because they only have 20 cottages. So probably, well, definitely your Marriott, Park Hyatt, Four Seasons, those recognizable, those brand names that we know and love, they're going to be able to really accommodate groups quite well because they're also our largest properties on either island. But Royal St. Kitts Hotel is another option for groups and especially family groups. I think that's a really good fit. But Denise Zimber, again, my colleague, I'm going to put her details down too, because Denise, although based up in New Hampshire, she does look after our groups in Mice Market and incentives. And she's a wonderful source of information. And Denise has been with our tourism authority for 21 years.
Wow.
There is nothing, she's amazing. And there's nothing she does not know about our islands. And in fact, she spent her whole working career in the Caribbean. So she knows all the islands very, very well. But in particular, St. Kitts and Nevis, she's just a walking treasure trove of knowledge. And she's also a diver. So if you ever have clients that are into diving, she is definitely your go-to for that. In fact, she just did a big dive expo over the weekend. She's just amazing. She is a walking encyclopedia. I just wish I could funnel all that knowledge into my body, She's amazing.
All right. Well, I don't have any more questions. Agents, do you guys have any more questions? I don't think. Let me check Facebook one more time. Make sure there's no other questions. This has been an amazing webinar, Miss Allison.
Oh, thank you.
I can't wait to plan a group trip there.
Oh, please. If anyone has any questions, please email me, call me, anything. Send me a smoke signal. I'll respond. There, I just put a last little note. I'm in Atlanta, so not too far away. And if you do need anything, yes, again, please reach out. And Tyra, thank you so much. We met in Florida back in January, and we were just chuckling how quickly time went by. Where did the last few months go? It
goes by so fast. So do you think there's gonna be any updates within the next few months, Miss Allison?
I'm hopeful. I know that we're definitely the big project right now. We're just Q1's been so busy with all the different shows, but our big project for April is to get that travel agent destination training program up and running.
Yes.
Because that's just such a great way to stay connected. And any offers that we're doing, like any specials, any like FAMs are always something we're striving to organize. But again, it's getting the air has proved sometimes a little challenging, especially with the demand being so high and the supply just not being there. So we're, that's always an ongoing goal for us, but really it's getting that travel agent training program up and running. So we're definitely excited about that. So soon as I have that, I'll be sharing it with you so you can share it with everybody. And yeah, very excited. Hopefully I get to meet you all in person one day soon.
You definitely will. I'm going to send you our link so that we can reschedule an update, when you, so that when you guys have all of the updates, we want to know and hear all about them. Okay.
Well, that would be great. And in the next time we do an update, let me know if there's a particular property you're interested in, because sometimes I can get my colleagues from the hotel, or I might be able to get my colleagues from Nevis to join the webinar. So then you'll get to hear maybe an in-depth version, maybe more, for example, about Nevis or about Park Hyatt.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, I would love that. We would love to meet with all of the hotel suppliers if possible there in St. Kitts and Nevis, because you never really know, what clients, want and need. It's just it's so easy for the agents to see it and say, okay, it's that place that we want to send the clients. So yes, I would love to meet with all of them.
And if you're finding more and more of your clients are wanting the luxury end, then yeah, I'll get Park Hyatt on the phone. We'll get them to join us.
Absolutely.
Park Hyatt are amazing. Or we get Four Seasons, or maybe we get both of them to join
Listen,
us.
I would like to set that up, or even if it's multiple webinars. Absolutely. We want to see it all.
Fantastic. All right. Well, we regroup. Once we get this travel agent program up and running, I'll reach out to them. We'll get it happening. Summer is actually a nice time because it seems to be sometimes a little slower in the summer.
Okay.
And then we can all get together over a cocktail and do a webinar.
Listen, that sounds like so much fun. So thank you so much, Miss Allison. Thank you for your time.
Welcome.
Thank you for the webinar, and I cannot wait for the next one. Thank you so much.
Right. You're very welcome. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Be healthy.
You have a wonderful day too. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.